Ooh, and we are golden, ladies and gents. We went sliding today, Victoria. It was so fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah. I
And
wrecked into
super
Danielle, wrecked into
Yeah.
Weston. Weston and I
What
went
did
down.
you do to them?
So Weston and I went down at the same time, and we were next to each other on sleds. And then you have to kind of curve around this hill. It's actually really fun. But I smashed into Weston's right hand. I smashed into Weston, who was on my right hand side, and sent him just basically forward. Then I went down the hill. I didn't mean to, but
Yeah. And then we were racing down the hill.
Danielle was on the inside.
I was on the inside winning, and then all of a sudden he cuts over, crashes into me. And
I did a long loop around the outside, and we were coming at it like a T, like it was like
It was.
and I slipped just by her, like it was barely. It was sick though.
It was fun.
And we were like looking at each other the whole time, like, are we gonna crash? Are we gonna crash?
No, that's the thing. That's the eye lock moment
Yeah.
where you're just like,
We
you
did, too.
son of a bitch. You're like,
Yeah.
every day.
It was fun though.
It was fun.
Yeah,
And it's super close.
yeah. And Jason's grandma lives right there, so we just park at her house, and it's easy.
Lives where?
Right at the hill. It's right by her house. It's literally in her backyard.
Oh. That's
Yeah, it was sick. It was sick. So yeah, just
I've not gone sledding. We have 0 snow here.
exactly. That's why I should move over.
over.
Hello. Nothing?
You don't. Okay, you guys. You're like, I'm gonna come over.
Not in winter. Don't come over in winter.
Spring.
Don't come over in winter.
When the spring, come over. And then I'm like, we don't have any sledding. And you're like, wait, you didn't come over. I'm like,
Don't come over in winter. Seriously. The spring will be more fun. The spring
sorry
will
that
be
you
more
didn't
fun.
come over. Whatever. Don't come over then. I don't know where I'm at with you guys.
We definitely want you here. I think Frankie's just hoping that he has an apartment by then.
Well, I'd have enough money. That's for sure. Give me 5 months to save up.
Dude, speak my language. I literally, mom got me a planner at it. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm looking over at it. And I've got all of my budget nailing it already.
Smart.
Yep.
Have to. You have to. Because I'm like, what's going on? What am I doing? But I did buy this.
You bought what?
This pillow.
Ooh, is it super
Nice.
soft?
It's very soft.
Looks like a
Looks
mushroom.
soft.
And
Or wolf fur.
they have huge bin of them at Costco.
That,
I want to live in the Costco bin of these for the
I
rest
hear
of
you.
my life. They're so soft.
Right?
Yeah.
I know. They have burgundy ones, Yelly.
Ooh.
Like deep red burgundy, and they're so soft. And they have white cream ones. And then they had like only 2 of these that looked darker, which I didn't want with the purple eggplant. I didn't want white because I think it's too much of a contrast. But then I didn't want the burgundy because I was like, well, it would have looked fine. But I thought, no, I'm gonna go natural.
Yeah, it looks
I'm gonna
pretty.
do natural.
Does.
Thank you.
I
Mom
know.
was like, it looks like you're being hugged by a wolf. I'm like,
It does look like wolf fur.
yes, that's what I was going for.
But do. Can you do this for me?
We're
back
in
where
the
it was.
car. We're arguing. You don't have to change lanes now. She's like, well, I'm literally doing it right now. You just-
Victoria,
what do you want me to do?
you know what I
I'm
remembered?
confusing the hell out of them.
Our last podcast, you know what you did halfway through said, why is your video so small? Halfway through. So why don't you take it and shove it?
Hey, we all make mistakes. Like not hitting record.
Here, you can do this, right? But what I think
We're
you
in
should
the
do
glass
is
houses,
curve a
you
little
guys.
bit, curve yourself a little bit. Like
They're
this.
very,
No, no, no,
very
no,
made
no.
of glass.
Take your chair and move it so that way you're kind of speaking into it.
Are you happy
That's-
now?
Sit up straight. Fix your fucking head. And let's get into it.
Chin
I'm
out.
just saying.
Don't you dare.
Get your mind right.
Listen, man. Sorry, I won't get audio.
It's a noble cause.
It's really cool though because when you scoot forward, Yelly, you look like the adult, and Frank with his hat like that looks like the child. He needs to just like scoot back further, and then he's the child, and it looks like you're about to reprimand him.
This is my corduroy denim hat. See that?
Is it from that brand that you're like in
Yep.
love with now?
Yep.
Have you ordered anything new?
No, not yet. Not yet. I'm
The teddy bear brand.
the only thing I'm gonna order next is gonna be the color block hoodie, but they're out of my size, so I'm waiting. Because they're humongous, so. And that'll take half off the price.
Well, I'm fitting now, so you guys have things that are being made for you.
Can I get a banana hammock?
Ew.
22 seconds. I was like, "It's my kitchen." I was like, of course not. Of course it's not wholesome like that. I know my bananas can live. No, it's not that, Victoria.
That would be awesome though if you sent him like a kitchen banana hammock.
Oh, I could put that.
Yeah. Oh, keep the bananas off.
I could wear that. I'll stick a banana in there.
Okay.
I'm like, how did you like bananas? Like, you're like a bird. I'm like, what?
Yeah, how do I wear this?
Oh my
Anyway,
god.
let's stop talking about my genitals.
That could be your niche, Victoria. You could just make
Knitted banana hammocks.
knitted inappropriate gifts.
What would you call it though? So if it's knitted banana hammocks, you could call them knitted banana slings or something, right?
No, it would have to be
The woolen hammock is what you could call it. The woolly hammock. It's like woolly mammoth, but it's the woolly hammock. That's what it's called.
No, my company would be called The Unpeeling, and it would be
It'd be
very
called what?
disgusting. The Unpeeling.
The unpeeling. Nice.
That's a good
Nice,
one.
because it's also like unappealing. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I like it.
It's just unpeeling.
And then you would call the underwear that you make would be called the woolly hammock. And then it would be like you could make it out of like a dark brown, you know, a yarn. And give it a little white. Give it a little white, maybe in the back or something. Just
Do a
around
little
like
salt and pepper.
well, just like a little bunny tail in the back, you know.
And I would have the best commercials. I'd be like, you know when your man shaves too much? Woolly hammock.
You know when there was too much manscaping?
Or for those
When
men
you
that
shave too much, try the woolly mammoth. And they have mammoth.
if you guys have seen the men that like have no body hair, like zero body hair. It's weird. They're like little
Only in
babies.
our dreams.
So listen, dude, they're like big babies. They literally have like no body hair. It's
Aw.
weird. So it's for them.
No
you know? It's like,
eyelashes.
can your man not grow hair? Get him a woolly hammock. It'd be funny too, is if you just literally took 2 pieces of yarn, one to go around the waist and then one to go through the crack, and that's it. That's all it was 2 pieces.
And then just yarn like spouted out from it.
Yeah. Then you had like a
Tassels.
like a mop. You had a mop.
tassels.
No, more like a tassels, but in a mop form, like like an old mop.
Yeah.
It's just like, how much did you pay for
No,
this?
that one would be called.
$75?
That one would be
It's
called
handmade.
Mr. Whiskers is what that one would be called. And you'd have 2 sides fanning out with your yarn.
Organic. But some of them will have just like loops connecting, so they kind of go down the legs a little bit, just those little strips of yarn,
Yeah.
just some decoration.
Yep. Exactly.
Like that's the cover. I make underwear, but that's it. It's like little loops that go across the ass.
Yeah.
Like hiding anything.
Yes. I think you need to do it.
Check if
They're really breezy.
Yeah, you could do you constantly get yeast infections from all the groin sweat you have Get a woolly hammock today. Like, dude, I could make this. I could make the shit out of that commercial, dude.
That's what I mean. We make it like one of these modern commercials where they're funny, but like you're actually like trying to science it up a little bit.
Yeah.
We should do it. I mean, that would be hilarious just to make those commercials.
Well,
and see what happens.
Victoria, honestly, what we could do is
just try to get it on.
Don't interrupt me
before
again.
the Super Bowl. That's what would be the funniest.
To get it
But
on the
it's not
Super
an
Bowl?
actual company.
Yeah. But Victoria, what I was gonna say is before we even try to get it on the air, we could just make the commercial for our YouTube video, for our YouTube channel.
Yeah. We just make commercials.
For things that we actually don't make. Exactly,
We don't
dude.
make them.
The thing is I hate the commercials that they put out, and I'm like, I could make a better commercial than this. I could make a better commercial.
Yeah. Yeah, I never think that, but talking to you guys right now, I think maybe I would think that if we tried. But I think we should always put links in the description. There are no links, though.
Yes.
There's nothing.
We should link to
There's
just
no company.
random stuff like the Woolly Mammoth Society. If you
A charity to save the woolly mammoths.
yes,
Like
yep.
they are gone.
Maybe an alopecia sort of Wikipedia in case you have alopecia.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And then Betty White's
Some serious
Wikipedia.
shit. Yeah, Betty White for sure.
And Bigfoot.
That would be the best. And
Yeah.
the movie Blade.
Yeah.
Because I
We always include the link for the movie Blade. It's a classic, dude. You haven't
you
seen
need to
it.
see it. If you haven't seen
That
it.
movie, honestly, though, is really
No,
good.
yeah.
It is.
Wesley Snipes' Blade. Ooh, baby. He killed that.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I love 30 Days of Night, though. I just love the creepy ass vampire
I
story.
do not.
I don't like him to be
do.
sexy.
Is that
and,
the
like,
Alaskan one with
try
Josh
to-
Hartnett?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I
and
only
love
saw a
the
piece of it.
vampires. They're no joke.
That movie is freaking
No,
out
28
like
days
They're
later.
vampires. They're
28
like,
days
we're gonna
later.
kill ya.
28 days
that's-
later. Oh, that's zombies.
28
That's
days
zombies.
later is zombies. Yeah, I agree. 28 Days Later is so good.
Good.
Cillian Murphy.
Yeah. Cillian Murphy is just... I love him. I'd be
He's
gay for
good.
him.
He's a great actor. He's
Yeah, he is.
well, who wouldn't be? I mean, honestly, if I was a guy, I'd go gay. For
I
it.
don't know
That's
who
what I'm
that
saying.
is. I don't think.
What?
I don't know who that
Oops, sorry. Peaky Blinders.
Oh.
You know, Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, Red Eye as well with Rachel McAdams.
I know he plays a good creepy guy.
Scarecrow and Batman
He
series.
played Scarecrow.
Red
in
Eye. Red Eye.
I said it
with-
first. Before Victoria.
Oh. Red Eye with Rachel McAdams.
I said it.
I didn't hear you.
Yeah, because you're not listening.
I thought you were talking about Peaky Blinders.
I
Calm
said Peaky
down.
Blinders and then said Red Eye with Rachel
then he said
McAdams.
With Rachel McAdams. He said it the same
Oh,
way.
Exactly the way you
Sorry.
did. Don't worry, our
He's
sister's
like Red Eye, which
idiot.
is Rachel McAdams. And you're like, yeah, the Red Eye. Yeah. You're doing that in every conversation. Someone tells you some shit, then you
Just take credit.
Remember that thing that happened? Like, yeah.
Just take credit for it. Just take credit for it.
Just gaslight him.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't say that. No, you didn't.
You're like, no, I just said that. They're like, no, I said it before you. You're like, dude, if you wanted to steal my ideas, like, that's okay. I get it. I'm very smart. Like, freaking out.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Victoria, by the way, did you see that they arrested somebody for the Moscow murders?
Yes, I did.
Crazy, right?
But everyone was like, they caught the guy. They caught the
Yeah.
guy. And I was like, well, no, suspect.
Yep.
They have found information on him and they're looking into it. Well, but they pretty much, no, they didn't. We don't know that that's that person. Because I'm terrified of that. Like, if your prints were at some house that you went to one freaking
Random
day
time.
for something stupid, and then they're like weird ass prints, and then everyone assumes, yep, that's the killer. I'm like, no, suspect. They say keep saying suspect.
You're like, I
So,
was there to
it's
pick
not-
up a
it's not-
textbook.
Legally, they have to say
Oh,
suspect is what
no.
I'll say first. But listen, did you see his picture? It's him. It's him. He's
He's
guilty.
a criminology student.
Exactly, guilty.
And so yeah, I can create a narrative in my head. It's just
Mine's created.
I would hate it if people did that for me, because it's like, please give me the benefit of the doubt.
If I was,
I don't know. We
if
don't
I
know.
was the suspect, I would just create the narrative first, get ahead of the story.
Yeah.
If I did do it, here's why I would have. Here's my motive. If
Good work.
allegedly.
Allegedly, I did kill him. Okay. So,
Allegedly,
in
I did use a
Pennsylvania,
knife.
And then the FBI found me there, and then the SWAT team broke into my house. Allegedly, no, that part happened. You're like, no, and I'm allegedly talking to you right now. Okay. This guy definitely did.
Like, we have problems.
Okay,
Just
you're.
put allegedly. It's in Bruno number one. Okay, hypothetically, if I did kill 4 students with a knife because I was really mad at my mom, what would happen next?
You would go to jail.
Where do we go from here? Like, you're gonna get, we need you, are you confessing? I said hypothetically. I'm just asking, hypothetically, if I was the person who did that because my mom was a bitch to me that day, what would happen next?
Weston's down here. Oh, sorry, I'll have to cut that. A small child is down here. We don't know whose it is. No, go home.
Small
I don't know
child is
where. I don't know
wanted
where
in
you
the
live. I don't know where you live. Get out of here.
Oh my god, I did get scared one day. I was at my apartment.
Oh my god, a young kid did
No.
wander into my house. Right
Just hang on.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
Some kid was in my house.
If a kid wandered into my house, what would happen? Now he wandered in and I kicked him out. But would I get in trouble?
Am I in trouble?
Anyway, you got scared.
Freaking! It's at my apartment, and this kid knocks on my door. This little tiny, like 3-year-old.
Oh no.
And I open the door, and it's this little girl, and she's like, "Hi."
Hi, where's your parents? What are you doing?
I was like,
Where's your adult
she's like
supervision?
trying to
Yeah.
come in, because she's positive that this is where she's meant to be, and I'm the only person there. And I'm like, no, no child. I was like, no, you're not supposed to be here. And she's like, my aunt is in there. I was like, why do I feel like I'm being interrogated right now? I know your aunt is in there. She's like, yes, she is. She's in there. And that's where then she's like, there's another little girl supposed to be here. Tons of people are supposed to be at my house. I was like, no. And then she's like, okay. She starts walking away. I'm like, no. Close the door. I go out with her. I'm holding her hand. I'm like, where is this little girl, your friend? Took ages. They were all the way on the other side. This little 3-year-old is completely alone.
Jeez,
I was
dude.
like,
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Where could you have knocked up? Son of a bitch.
Yeah, seriously, dude.
I'm so scared. Like,
Yes.
oh my God.
Yeah.
I found the little girl and I gave her the most disappointed look I could possibly give. I was like, she does not know where I think it was like her aunt's house is. It's like, she does not know that. So you cannot just tell her to go there and think she's going to find it.
Yeah.
Because that's what the girl did.
Yeah.
She's like a 6-year-old and she's like, just go to the aunt's house, bye.
Oh,
That's just giving me anxiety right now just thinking about it.
I know, that's what I had. I had such anxiety, like,
Why are you sharing it with us?
Yeah. Keep that
I
I don't
shit
want
to
that.
yourself.
Yeah, I don't want any of that, dude.
everybody
Listen,
needs to experience
that story, and this is gonna sound bad, but that story was worse than talking about the murder story of the 4 college students.
I know.
Made me feel
because
worse.
it's innocence. It's complete innocence of just.
Well, it's just a 3-year-old child. You just feel, yeah, Jesus.
So many things could have
I
happened.
know.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. It was just like,
So
thank God.
yeah, thank God. Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast. Another episode of Unseasoned Reviews.
We're all this experiencing anxiety right
who
now.
wants to get depression? We're buckets of sunshine over here, coming to you live out of the disparate. What is it called? Disparate winners. How would you say that?
Disparate.
Just you don't fucking know. We don't know. We're idiots. That's the whole point of this
I don't
podcast.
even know what you're talking about.
Nobody
We
does.
are idiots.
But today we will be talking about a new book. Finally, took us 18,000 weeks to get to this one because we screwed up on Nora Roberts'
Hey.
series. No fault of Nora's, I will say.
No fault of Nora's.
No fault of
She's the
Nora's.
best.
Yeah.
It was.
Nora wasn't calling us like. Actually, you should probably say this if she wasn't doing that.
It's like it's
We
not
just
even
sucked at it.
released. How did you know, Nora? It's not even released.
She's psychic.
Oh,
She always does.
Well,
Because
she saw the first episode and she had
She
notes.
was
She was like, listen, if you're gonna say this stuff, and trust me, I don't want you to, but if you're gonna, here's what you're gonna include. Which is why we are putting in this note right now that we are not attracted to Nora. She is a independent, strong woman, and there's no physical attraction on my
We're not
end.
attracted to her.
We're not. We can't say that. I know. I'm not.
Can
I'm
we
not.
convey it in another way?
Can we draw a picture? No.
There,
We
no
will
way to
get
this
sued.
across.
She's litigious.
70%.
She's a litigious, strong, independent woman. I'll say.
Yeah.
Anyway, today we're talking about a new book series that we read also a long time ago, and we're now going to try and remember for you. The Three Body Problem by Cixin Liu.
Seduction.
Cixin. Yeah, I listened to today to how we said it, and that's how it's pronounced. We looked it up and everything. Now, this book is a little more new, I believe. Yeah, like 2014, 2015, somewhere in there. And a lot of hype around it. A lot of people like it. Actually, when we went to check this out, all of us, I think we all had difficulty at first checking it out, didn't we?
I
know Danielle and I did.
Yeah.
Victoria, did you have
I
any
had
trouble
zero
checking it out?
difficulty.
Well, that's because nobody
I
reads where
literally
you're
went to
at.
the library. All three of them were.
Nobody reads over there. Idiots.
They don't. People
But-
don't even know they're like the library.
Dude, one of our libraries had because I checked 3 different libraries around here. One of them had 15 copies and they all had holds on them. There was 19 holds on it. I was like, okay.
15?
Yeah, they had 15 copies and there was 19 holds on it or something. It was insane.
That's why you should live near people.
People be reading
know.
over here. You know what it is? It's the long ass cold winters, and
Yeah, people are stocking up
people need to read.
smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And they're poor, so they can't, do it on their phone.
it's true. The middle class is
Got a big
shrinking.
pork
Anyway, let's keep the positivity flowing.
Let's keep it along.
But
Are you poor? You need to know where your local library is. Links in the description. You're
listen,
welcome.
I could link a couple libraries.
You should. We should promote libraries.
No, seriously,
They're
we should go to the
amazing.
libraries. That's where we're getting as many of our books as we can. Only sometimes, when we can't find them because they're checked out or whatnot, then we'll, use Audible or we use
Or they're really boring, like Don Quixote. We won't talk about it, but it was
True.
boring.
Oh,
Don Quixote, man.
one of my coworkers
Oh,
who
here we
reads
go.
a ton of classics
Yeah.
and assigns his children certain books to read. I mean, I think
God, this guy
it's
sounds like
amazing.
a great dad.
Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah.
He tried to read Don Quixote. He's like, you inspired me, and I'm like, just don't do it. It's like, I feel like I should. He
Don't
said
hate me, like,
he's like, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
He's like, I made it. He's like, I made it 8 pages in
Yep.
and set it down. He's
Yep.
like, I gave up.
Yep.
I'm like, I do not like
Now, did he read the original huge
I
version?
have no idea. I didn't ask.
it doesn't matter because it should be 200 pages.
It
And
should
if it's
be.
not, then it's a shitty book.
It should be, but I'm just thinking it doesn't matter. He got 8 pages in. Listen, we'll
This
have
is
to.
the 200-page abridged version. it's a shitty book, and you're
Dude,
gonna hate yourself for reading it.
I actually saw on somebody was it was something about classic works or something, and somebody was saying how Don Quixote was like a masterpiece, and they had this line from it and everything, and I was just like, listen, there is great ideas in there, but dude, it's just so long. Like,
Yeah.
we read a shortened version.
We read the shortened version, and it's still way too long.
Yeah, we read
I
the
get it.
very
He's
short
an idiot.
700-page version.
Yeah.
Of the originally
14 or
over
something.
1,000 pages.
Yeah.
So yeah, we even read the shitty little 700. Fuck off. The Don Quixote book
Why'd
is
you get her
ridiculously
going?
I
dumb.
didn't say anything. She just brought it up.
Oh, she did.
Yeah, I didn't bring it up.
It's all me. I just can't get over it.
We'll review it at some point. At some point, we will review that book.
I thought it was funny because I thought I was just being a little whiny bitch about it. And I'm like skimming. I'm just skipping. Like, I don't care. You know, when you like do a wheel through
Yeah.
get pages on your phone, like,
Yeah.
like it won't matter.
Yeah.
It's full fucking
Yep.
shit.
So, guys,
Yep.
this is why you should listen to our podcast, because you never know what
What
part
is
of
it? A
the story you're gonna-
podcast?
podcast.
Our podcast.
Hey, I've been drinking.
It's listen to our
You
podcast.
just never know.
And my name's Danielle from the Midwest, huh? You come over and have a pop, huh?
And then I felt like I was being so lame. And I was gonna come back like the loser child who's like, I can't even read a book. And you guys are like, no, I skimmed. I skimmed
Yeah,
the
we
hell
skimmed.
out of
We
it.
all skimmed that piece of garbage.
Fuck. Thank God.
Miguel Cervantes can go fuck himself. That's all I'm saying. He wrote
I
it.
know. I was like, I was full like, I'm the loser, whatever. I'm fine. I'm gonna own it because I don't want to read this. And
Yeah.
then you come in and it's like either we're all losers or this is a shitty fucking book.
The thing is there was really good parts and it was just way too
But
long.
the good parts were like
Yeah.
a page or a half a page.
It was like a half a page
and
of
then you
that.
had to slog through 100 more pages to get to half
Yeah.
And
a
I don't
page.
even. But the thing is, it's like life, right? I could look at my entire life in a book form,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna slog through that shit, right?
Yep.
And certain parts are gonna come up, and I'm gonna be like, that was a great moment.
Yeah.
That was one page of awesome.
Yeah.
So was it really so? Or was it just all the slogging that makes me think this one little tiny moment is worth it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a
It's like,
good
it's
point.
like,
But we've had
I'm
some good moments.
Some more depression coming your way,
What
ladies
is
and
going
gentlemen.
on with you? You
Listen.
need to get your head right.
It's in a-
Hi, were you having a good day? Welcome to our podcast, where it's about to get a whole lot worse. Jesus.
Yeah. Anyway, off Don Quixote. Back to this book, Mr. Cixin Liu and the Three-Body Problem. Now, this book we did enjoy. We all
So
enjoyed.
good.
It
Yes, it was really good.
very
And
good.
complicated.
Very complicated. This is a science book. Again, not everything's going to be true in here because like there's theories that he might take a little too far and maybe that's not exactly how they work. But listen, this guy's not a physics professor. He's a Chinese author.
Even if it is, it's all theory. So
Exactly.
computer
So maybe it
engineer.
is true. But dude, this guy, so it says that he's a 9-time winner of China's Galaxy Award. I don't know what that means. And he's also received the
Look it up if you do.
2015 Hugo Award for his novel, The Three-Body Problem. I don't know what the Hugo Award is. And he's won the Nebula Award. Sick. I don't know what that means either.
let's start going through history. I don't know what happened
Yeah.
around this time.
He's a member
know
of
nothing.
China's Science Writers Association. I don't know what that means. But what I do know about this guy is he writes a damn good book. Book number 1, very good. And this
Yeah.
is a trilogy. The other thing that we didn't mention yet is this is being picked up by Netflix. So Netflix is adapting this
Yeah.
into a series.
I don't even know.
So if you want to be the hipster and you want to be ahead of the curve and you want to think
Write some
maybe
shitty
this-
reviews
maybe
online.
it's this series, maybe it'll pick up and everybody will be like, it'll be like Stranger Things and everybody's talking about it. And you'll be like, well, I read the book, so I actually kind of know more than, if you want to be that person.
Don't
Well,
listen to our
you're
podcast.
welcome.
If you
You're
want to
welcome.
listen, be that person, don't listen to our podcast. Don't listen. I don't want you to listen. How about that?
Anyways, get ahead of the curve. Be the hipster. Be like, oh, I knew about this book before there was a Netflix series. So
that,
You
or
could do
write,
that.
or you could write the, you know, the crappy reviews online that everybody does. So
I mean,
let's not
Alright,
get
so
enough with the depression. How about that? Let's stop.
get
That was
back
my
on
fault.
task.
I will take responsibility for that one. Enough sadness in our lives. Let's move on to the good stuff, huh? There's this really cute YouTube thing where they're talking about 2022, like things that happened on YouTube, you know, moments and whatnot. And there's this kid that eats corn. It is so damn cute. It is the cutest thing. If you haven't
Yeah.
seen it, look it up. It is so cute. And there's a little song with
what's
it.
the first animal you think of when you think cute animal? First
Cute
pops in your
animal,
head.
cute animal.
Baby panda.
I was thinking of like kind of like a squirrel, but it wasn't a squirrel. It was something a little fluffier, but I can't think of what it is. It was like a chipmunk. Chipmunk. That's what I was thinking of. Thank you.
Yeah, I think of an otter. Like the otters.
Otters are
like,
cute.
Yes.
I just saw a video the other day of otters, and there was snow on a dock, and they were sliding through the snow with like their snout down, but their butt up, but they're just like, you know, pushing their nose along. Yes.
Cute.
It's cute. Now, otters are really terrible creatures, though, so let's not get into it. They're very terrible. They would do terrible things. Sadness, darkness. Come on, people. Is
Okay,
anything
so I
happy
tried to
happening
bring
to
up-
anybody?
Stop bringing up the
Okay,
dark.
let's move on to dolphins and how they rape things.
Yeah. Well, that's what otters do, dude. That's what otters do.
Okay.
I know. I'm saying, what are we doing? This is a dark spiral.
You did it again.
I didn't bring up the otters.
But you brought up the
I just know what they do.
Well, you didn't have to share it with us.
I said, let's move on.
Frank's like, oh wait, it's the world that's the problem. It's anything that we bring up is gonna bring me into a dark spiral. So
It's
I
just
need to
me.
check out.
It's
We're
just
like,
me.
okay,
I'm the problem.
Common denominator.
All right. Should we talk about the book, though?
Let's do it.
Let's get into it.
So good.
Let's do it.
I mean, where do we even begin? Now, we're going to try and do this without giving you everything that happens in the book. This
Like,
thing,
shut up, fuck it.
I don't know what she said, and I'm
She
just
said,
going to move on.
At the beginning.
In the beginning, so who wants to? It's an inside joke thing with a show I watch.
You can't inside joke with yourself for a show that only you watch.
It's a show in my head. It's called
That feels like me.
Not Another
I do
Day of
that.
This. That's the show.
Who the fuck are you?
It's my inside joke. With who? No, me.
Yeah, just me.
That's
It's
just an
just with
inside
me.
joke. Like, you could just call that a joke. It's just my joke. I'm the only one laughing.
I don't know
like
what
my
we're
life.
doing anymore. What are we doing?
Okay, all right.
What is happening?
Yes, on Okay, all right. Kick the book off. How does it begin?
Do you guys want me to start? Do you guys want me to kind of open this thing, baby? It.
Go,
All
go,
right, I'm
go,
gonna
go.
crack. Okay, anyway. So this book's gonna start out what Liu is doing is he's taking some historical events that actually happened, like the revolution in China, because this book takes place in China. He's a Chinese author. He's writing about Chinese people. There is one American in this book, though, at least. I mean, there's a couple, but there's one like main American. So the book starts out in the Chinese Revolution, talking about how the people overthrew the bourgeois class. And that's how it starts, is by these people that are basically saying, those that are, honestly, it's kind of like being too capitalistic is what they're thinking, and too materialistic. They're overthrowing that to instill a kind of workers' party, I don't know how else I would describe it. It's less about material things, but more about doing things for your country, being more of what do they call a collective body. That's where it starts.
Like nationalists?
What?
Like nationalists?
Well, like communists is what it is, really. They're just communists, right?
So communism?
Yeah, because that's what they were still communist, I believe, before, but they were taking on more capitalistic forms. Like capitalism was almost pervading their society more and more, and that's where this revolution came in to basically say, no, back to our roots.
But what was that first main issue that we were tackling the very beginning of the book? And it was where they were bringing up on stage, they had these big theaters almost, or outdoor
It was auditoriums.
theater areas.
It was the auditoriums in the schools.
Yeah. And they would bring a person up, and they brought that scientist, that male scientist up, and they, what was their main problem with the
Scientist
theories that he agreed with?
Yeah, they were saying that his oh man.
What was it against? It was meaning, if you believe in this,
He
then
taught
this, it means
it was
this.
The physics professor was told that he taught reactionary parts of quantum mechanics, and he was saying that it was the most likely theory based on experimental results, and that he said that experiments should guide philosophy, or he was asking them, should philosophy guide experiments, or should experiments guide philosophy, is what he was asking them. This kind of, sick question, basically, to say suck it, but obviously they don't care. And they were going more off of the philosophy first, where it's like, listen, we're all going to be this collective body, and we're not going to do anything that goes against it. Now I'm not going to get into any politics things here. I'm just talking about this thing.
We're not.
And
we're just
so
talking about the book.
these people that were on taking these professors up on the stage, these revolutionaries, they were saying that Marxism should guide experiments. That was their belief. And the physics professor says the truth emerges from experience. Bada bing, bada boom. But then he was beat to death. So
it didn't work out. It really, and what I took from it is that it's like, no, we have one way that we want you to think.
Yep.
Do not go outside of the box.
Yep.
Do not theorize outside of what we tell you to theorize.
Yep.
Like, do not go outside our box that we've created.
Yep.
Or
Well,
really,
it kind of makes sense though, because communism is against individualism, where you're trying to make yourself the best person you can be. That takes away from the group,
Yep.
yeah.
which there are pros and cons to both. You have to have a bit of both, I would say. But yeah, they're saying, well, you can't agree with these things because they could potentially harm the group.
Yeah.
So they are moving toward that group. But it's like they had already, no matter what he said, I think he knew it. I think he knew. No matter what he said, he was up on that stage, and they were going to say anything they could possibly say to make him into the villain they had already decided he was.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Mine's made
Which
up.
that's one of the cool things about this book, is that it really grips you into that moment where you're realizing you're totally stuck. There's no other course of action. There's no choice right now. You know what's going to happen, but he's taking you through it. You're living it. And it was really impactful for me. I was like, holy cow, this is, it just grips you. It's a lot. It's really good.
That's how it starts. I mean, you're pulled right into it, and it's,
Boom.
and you're like, for me, it was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I literally went back and started. I'm like, did I miss something? Like, what the heck?
I did too. I did too.
And then I was like, no, this is it.
The thing too with
this is how we are starting.
I mean, with
It's kind of like our podcast. It's going to start grim, and hopefully it'll get better from there.
I mean, that's the hope. Let's see.
But I mean, the way I think about it too for Lou's a Chinese author, right? So obviously I believe his first audience is going to be, the Chinese people themselves. So they're going to have this history more than we are. So whereas we're, dumb Americans, we're not going to be as well versed in what's going on, where somebody in China is probably like, oh yeah, I understand this. Like, because we were even confused about, because they would call Red Guard for both sides, the revolutionaries and the bourgeois class, basically. It just got confusing. But anyway, that's how it starts, man. We're starting off with revolutionaries taking over and basically starting to just kill people, and which is usually happens in revolutions. And the reason why this is important is because a character comes out of this. The daughter of that professor becomes one of the main characters in this story. Now, her name it's Yu. How do you say her last name? Yu.
I don't remember.
Wincia. It's like Wincia.
Wincia, yep.
Yeah, you Wincia, I believe. My recall is insane. You're welcome. But she witnesses this whole thing, and then after her father dies, she like goes up and cradles him on stage, and it's just, you know, it's a sad moment. But you is going to be a major character in this book, so that's how it starts instantly. And
crazy ride for her life.
Crazy ride. Trigger warnings in this book, man. Again, they describe some awful things. So if you don't like violence, I get it. Maybe just skip past those parts, because there's other parts of this book that's not violence that's like, this is good. It's a little like a suspense sort of thriller.
Well, it's weird because you go, it's so weird. The themes that he brings together are so unusual and different than any other book I've ever read.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, because you have this, you start off in this very bleak, very realistic, this is what humans are like, this is the kind of crap that we do to each other.
Yep.
It sucks.
And the polarizing,
and then you move into this weird, like,
objective, scientifical. Yep.
Where you're just like
virtual
testing
reality
things out and seeing what happens and whatever. Yeah, and it's just it's such a weird juxtaposition.
But is it though?
Experience of the book, but it works and it makes sense.
Because it's science. It's almost science and faith. You know, it's taking both of these where you're living off science and faith, and they do coincide in our world. We all freaking know that, right? And now you just have them together, because even while science is going on, there's that faith in the background that's also happening, that's leading people down different paths, or there's some that are obviously intersecting between
or
both.
biasing them.
Yeah, and it's just like, dude, it's so like, it feels real, even though there's tons of things in here that are definitely are not realistic. Like we'll get there.
But at the same time, the way he writes it, you aren't thinking when you're reading it as well, you're not thinking this is realistic, but for some reason there's a part of you that's going, what if this could happen? Like, the way he's writing it makes you think, if science was at this high of a level, if our technology was at that high of a level, could this happen? Could that be a thing?
Well, what's even weirder to think about, and I always think about this, right, because the large population, right, doesn't know half of what's already been invented. So it's like, we have no idea like where science is truly at, right?
I know.
So I always go there for just our capabilities. Like, there's things that we have no idea.
Just real quick aside, did you guys hear that they finally, for the first time, had a fusion reaction, excuse me, that took less energy than it put out?
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
Yep, for the first time they did it. So just saying, I mean, progress, baby.
Now they got to figure out how to like hone it and everything.
Well, it's got to be a lot bigger reaction. But for the first time, fusion, which is far more powerful. That's how a sun works. Far more powerful than fission, which is how we currently have nuclear energy. Tons more energy, and basically, I mean, we could create a reaction that would be self-sustaining, which would be sick, dog. So anyway, that's a quick aside.
I thought we already had that. I thought that's what Tesla's whole message was. Is that Nikola Tesla? I thought he was already like, we already have free energy all around us.
No, look, Tesla said those things. This is another aside. Tesla said those things, but nobody has been able to prove them. And maybe if they are real, then we there's no way of us knowing. Like, they could be hiding it. It could be false.
Also, side note. No, wait for Yelly to stop being like.
There's another random child down here. I don't know who
There
it
are
is.
many random children roaming around in this city, and you can't stop them. They
They're
come in, they find the basement.
They come in and they say, "Where's the food?" And we say, "The veggie pizza's in the oven." So just chill out. Veggie pizza will be done soon, okay?
Tell them to put them in the microwave and cook chicken.
Sorry, Victoria, you said another aside?
Oh, another side note, which is a question. Did Einstein kind of think, like, did Einstein and Tesla have like a little sarcastic, I'm better than you moment? Because remember when Einstein was like, I'm not the smartest person in the world, that's Tesla. Was that a little bit of a, like, you know,
I have no idea.
Somebody look it up.
Not right now. We are 46 minutes in, and we've literally talked about the opening 3 paragraphs of the book.
Oh yeah, there's a lot that happens.
There's
So much.
I know. This thing
Well,
is a
here's the-
monster.
Here's the deal, though. We only have to say what we want to say, right? The highlights. What
Yep.
would we tell our friend?
Yep. And we want to get them. We want to get people to read this book, dude.
It's so good, but we don't want to give away.
Exactly. So maybe we just do a real high level overview of kind of what happens. I mean,
Okay.
Overviews. That's me.
okay, let's hear it. Go ahead. Do you remember?
Oh, okay. So with the daughter, she goes off and she becomes, she's recruited into this program where she's going to be researching with a group of people, but she's kind of, she's
Be
almost
careful.
not a prisoner
Yes.
of them, because she's the daughter of that guy that was killed. So
Yep.
there's
Correct.
she has a questionable character
Yep.
to these revolutionaries.
Yep.
She's questionable, but she is recruited because of her knowledge in science
Yep.
to research
And she wants to do
this
it.
facility. But the thing is, she's had such a hard life all the way up until this recruitment has happened. Her father's died. Her mother was against her and has sided with the revolutionaries. She doesn't want to lie, and she believes in the old messages of science, the old theories that are occurred. And so she's questionable on both sides. She's kind of like living in a prison, and she goes off and she does all this hard labor and stuff. So it's like, why wouldn't she? So she
She's
goes
almost
over
like
to this.
banished. She's like banished,
Yeah.
right? Like has a scarlet letter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when she's asked
Yeah,
to be
and so-
in this program,
Yeah. Go. Yeah.
when she's asked to be in this program, to me it was like, okay, I'll actually be getting to use my knowledge base and what I used to love, right? And 2,
Yeah.
I will be sequestered in this area, but I will be doing like I'll have a purpose.
Yeah.
I'll have like a routine in
It's
my
basically
day.
like
I'll
if I'm going to
left
be in
alone.
hell, I might as well be doing something I love.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And it's kind of safer too, because she knew that if she agreed to it, she would never be allowed to leave.
Yep.
But that's all. But the part of you thinks, okay, that sounds like a prison, scary. But it's not hard labor. It's not any of that, and it kind of just decides your life for you. And if you've had a terrible life before then, and you're thinking all I'll do is work and I'll have a warm bed and food to eat, I mean, I would choose that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
She knew she thought she would never get out alive from it.
Yep.
She'd never be allowed to leave.
Yep.
Right.
But that was also a safety, a comfort to her.
Right. Eliminating the possibility of more bad things happening.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think a
it's
lot
like,
of
sure,
people
I'll
get
choose
into-
this boring life.
Yeah.
Totally,
I mean,
right.
it's better than, I don't know. She was cutting down trees at first, but yeah, way better. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, she gets recruited. She's there. She's at this facility, and
This top secret stuff.
top secret. This is a.
Well, at the beginning, it's not. She knows it's a top secret base.
Yep.
She knows that tons of people are worried about it and they're staying away from it. It's guarded. There's patrols, whatever. But she is not told the real thing that they're researching at first. That's
Yep.
something that comes out later.
Yep. And actually, how it ends with you, because it's switching between characters. How it ends with you is the base has this big radar dish on it. And one of the things that everybody knows about the base is no wildlife lives up there. None of it whatsoever. It's basically just a kind of dead area around that base for a certain, circumference. And when she first gets up there and they do a transmission, she feels her skin kind of start to crawl and itch a little bit. And then the transmission ends. So it's a very short little transmission, but she has no idea what the heck's going on. And you know what Lou does to us? He goes 40 years later. And now we're on to, how do we say this guy's name again? Sorry. Oh, Wong Mao, I believe.
Mao.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wong Mao. It goes to this guy. Now, Wong Mao is a professor. He's also he's in nanotechnology specifically. He's a physics professor specifically in nanotechnology. This is a lot of physics.
Yeah.
There's a lot of what's going on here. Wang Mao gets approached by the PLA, which is the People's Liberation Army, and some other dudes, but basically he's brought.
What does that remind me? The People's Liberation Army are in favor of what versus not being a part of the Liberation Army? What's
The People's Liberation, that's again the communist revolutionaries.
But they run everything, and they are still a questionable group because, like, not everybody's a part of them.
So anybody in power is going to be questionable, right? Power just corrupts people. So
Are they in power though? I thought they were kind of like a segmented group, independently manned.
Don't ask me. I don't want to get into it because it's so. I don't know anything about
Okay,
it. I'm gonna sound stupid. I'm talking about freaking the political makeup of China. Like, I don't even know the entire political makeup of the United States.
Let's think of China. Let's just say in the book, because I mean.
But I mean, there's a lot of true elements, which is why it's like people. Even though we could be talking about the book, it could get crazy. It could get crazy. So all I'm saying is it's the People's Liberation Army. That's what I know it is. But anyway, he gets brought basically to this underground place where there's some high-level people in the government. There's some cops. There's some other professors there as well. And they ask him if he would basically go and spy on this group. The group is called... I have it right here. I have it right here. Where is it?
That's right.
I know so much happens in this book.
Where is it?
So the people, it's the People's Liberation Army, and it's cool now because I only now while we're explaining it do I realize that he started the book with a recruitment process, like with a little bit of backstory and then a recruitment, and now we're skipping forward to another recruitment process. The People's Liberation Army trying to recruit Mao to go and spy on this other group, and this other group
Frontiers
is the
of
independently manned. The Frontiers of Science. They're the independently manned group that isn't run by the government. That's right. So the People's Liberation Army is like they're
like the
law.
police.
They're the ones in control. And then the
Frontiers of Science.
Say it. The Frontiers of Science are the independently manned group, which they're going, they want him to spy on this group, but
and they're not police or an army. They're like scientists.
Yeah, they're scientists.
They're independent.
Yeah.
They're independent.
Yeah.
But in the Frontiers of Science, the weird thing about them is there's a bunch of high-level people in the government and at companies and stuff that are in this Frontiers of Science. So it's this very weird group, and
it's just like elite group in society that are selected to be in this group. And what I found fascinating was you're chosen to be in it as long as you are smart enough, right, to get past these certain tasks. I don't know how we want to go into that or if we want to keep that secret, but to pass these certain tasks. And it's like if you don't even understand that and you don't get past it, and they have almost like an group interview process, and it's like, if you don't pass that, you're not even chosen. It's like,
you're out.
Nope, you're dumb. We don't want you in our group.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you have something, Victoria?
But they can also be tested, but they can have people that are for them and against them at the same time. And they can decide, they can say, hey, I don't think you know what you're talking about or whatever. And then you can come back with the information later and they'll be like, oh, damn. So it's kind of a cool group. I mean, honestly. Yeah,
look, it's interesting because there's the type of people that are there, the sort of kind of like Danielle was saying, the testing that they do to get you into it, which makes it obviously more exciting. Anytime that they're saying, hey, there's a barrier to entry, people are instantly like, exclusivity, all right, I'm in. So this group is interesting. Now, to add on to this, the reason why Wong is recruited is because 2 top-level scientists at the forefront of physics have committed suicide, and they were part of the Frontiers of Science, or were at least approached by them. And so there was some involvement, which is why they're asking, can you go and spy on this group? We have no idea why these people are all of a sudden committing suicide. They're top of their class, their field. sort
Yeah.
of individuals, and they're just committing suicide, and it
Doesn't make sense.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And Wong is unsure, obviously, because this is like
Well, because they're leaving cryptic notes. That's why they're so curious about it, because they're committing suicide, but they're also saying they know something. They're kind of teasing whoever reads it that there's no reason left to keep trying or whatever,
Yep.
or what I have come
all
to
hope
know
is lost.
isn't true anymore.
Yep.
They're leaving like these teaser messages to the People's Liberation Army, whoever
Anybody.
reads it, which would
Yeah.
be the government, anybody. But they're leaving these messages, which the People's Liberation Army have been watching them. They know they're doing some weird stuff. They don't know what, because they don't
Yep.
have anybody in there who can tell them. But then they're finding these notes once these people have committed suicide, and these notes are kind of teasing them, going, they're looking into something that we may be interested in. We should know about because
Yep.
we're
Yeah.
in control. So
Yep.
it's like they're playing cat and mouse game. That's what
Yep.
it feels like.
Yep.
Like it is a murder mystery. Like
Yep.
you're going, what is going on?
Yes.
So I think that's a really cool like little teaser, because I remember
Yes.
reading those parts where it would be the notes, the suicide notes, and I'm like, what does that?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
are they doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the whole book you're going, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like it is, like I never even thought of it that way, Victoria, a murder mystery, but it is like this science-based murder mystery
Yep.
of like,
Murder
what
mystery.
is happening?
Yep.
And that's what keeps you going. You're just, even though like some of it is way over my head,
Mhm.
and definitely had to look things up as I
I
was
can see that
reading
for
it.
you.
But it just, you keep going because you're like, I have to figure out what is happening.
Yeah. No, seriously, I had to do the same thing.
Turn to Danielle and like put your hand on it. Should I ask her for help? She's like,
Dude, I looked up a lot of stuff because it dives into physics because
I fucking anything. I was just fine with who the fuck knows.
yeah. Now, okay, so I think how we should end with the story, I think the last thing we should tell them is about the game. And I think
Should
we should
we?
leave it, but just a little bit, not much. We'll just tell them,
Well, this is a good segue, because we say, Mao's requested to go and spy on this group.
yep,
And what are they called again? Say it again.
Frontiers of Science.
Frontiers of Science. He's supposed to go spy on them, and one of the first people that he encounters, and one of the first ways that we discover a huge part of this book, is because Mao has known this other scientist,
Mm-hmm.
this lady,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not sure if he wants to spy on him. He's he's questionable toward the People's Liberation. He's like, should I even be,
Involved with
he's
you
kind of
guys?
like, why should I even
I'm a
help you,
professor. I'm a professor. What am I doing?
Yeah, well, I have things to do. Like I have tons of stuff I'm doing.
Yeah.
But he knows this lady. He knows of this scientist, and she's a really high-level scientist who has a huge reputation, incredibly intelligent, and has done great things. And so he's kind of curious just to be near these people that are so
Allegedly.
high up.
Yep.
Allegedly. Anyway, and then, so he goes over there to her house, and we discover something really weird. And I remember the way he wrote it, it was so nonchalant of just, he walked in and saw her taking off this, what did they call that suit?
A VR suit.
A VR suit.
Yep.
She was taking off her VR suit. And it's like, I immediately, that's where it ends, because then they have a conversation and stuff goes on. And you're going, what's the VR suit?
I know.
What's happening?
It
Where
is,
is she
there's so many teasers
You don't
in
know.
this of like,
the longest time, you don't know. You're going, what's the VR suit? What's this all about? And then it just plunges you. He just literally like takes you up by your ear and drops you into this VR suit
Yep.
world, this game.
Yep.
And all of these high-level scientists are playing it. And you're going, what is happening? It's so, he does this book so good.
you did.
You're-
You
I mean,
should
you're just so
absolutely read
confused.
it. You are. You're confused. You're
Yep.
concerned.
But at the end, it all makes sense. He brings it all
It
back
comes full
together, and you're like, oh my God. Like it
Yeah.
just,
It's like once that's knit together,
mm-hmm.
and you realize the next book is going to be all about like what goes on beyond this point,
Mm-hmm.
you're so hooked that you're just like we have been. It's been weeks.
I was just
Weeks
gonna
and it's
say,
been months.
yes, we finished this book. Yes, we finished this book. Realized we had to go back and redo podcasts, and we're all been suffering because we want to move on to the second book.
Yep.
Have I read it?
Yep.
I've not read it.
No.
Haven't read it yet.
So good.
But yeah, so basically, Yu's gonna come back into the story. We're gonna learn a little bit more about what she's doing at the secret facility that she's been working at. We're also gonna be with Wong as he learns more about the frontiers of science, and he starts playing this game that has this real, like, basically physics elements in it. And he's trying to now the game is called, now this is actually why the book is called, it's called the 3-body problem. That's what the game's called. And it's because, and this is all I'll say, is it's because they're studying this planet that has 2 suns on it. There's 3, that's the 3 bodies. And they're trying to figure out how does this thing work, basically. That's what Wong's trying to figure out. That's the whole 3-body thing, and they're trying to figure out who the people are that live on it and whatnot. And the only other thing I'll say is that before Wong Mao goes into the 3-body problem, he visits a top-level scientist because he's trying to also figure out, this is different from the Lady of the Frontiers of Science. He visits one, and this person, this top-level scientist, is he won't answer Wong's question about whether he should basically investigate this person and whether he should move forward with this. What this person does is he has Wong hit a cue ball into a pool pocket 8 different times, and each time they do it, they move the table to a different side of the room. Basically, they just keep moving it around. Wong hits it again. They do this 8 times. Wong does that, and the scientist says to him, basically, everything that you observed would show you that the laws of physics are real and they can be applied to different scenarios, right? And Wong says yes. And then the scientist says to Wong, what if I told you that all the particle accelerators around the world are getting completely different results, which means that the laws of physics cannot be applied across the universe? And if that's the case, basically all of these people's works mean nothing. They doesn't matter because we don't understand why it's happening, which is kind of leading you down the rabbit hole of, is this why those people are taking their own lives? And then Wong jumps into the VR suit.
And the question I have is, like, when he asked him to play this game, when he asked Wong to play this game, and he does, and 8 times it's the same result. You hit the cue ball, it goes into the pocket. Like, you have direction. There isn't chaos. There's structure, there's order, there's repeatable results that you're gonna get from whatever action you're taking, right? It all makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But aren't they saying that's like geocentrically? From the Earth's perspective, we can make this all works. This makes sense. But we've been applying it like to the entire universe. So it makes sense here. But then the weird part is that later the universe can have an impact which doesn't make sense. And so on the Earth, it can have an impact which we've never seen before. It can make things happen that we've never seen before. And we see that in the book.
I'm lost.
Yeah, I think
I'm already
we see the time. There's a huge, we see like the paranormal, for example. One of my favorite quotes is, the paranormal isn't supposed to happen, but it does happen. And that's kind of the same situation. We expect to take an action, and we expect a result from that. We have measurable, repeatable results, and that's what's going to happen. If I hit the cue ball toward this direction, it's going to land into the pocket. That makes sense.
Yep.
If it didn't, if the cue ball disappeared when I hit it, if the cue ball shrank and flew around the room, if that happened, we would consider a paranormal event. That's not normal. And so we've been applying all these physicists have based their lives off studying these the earth, studying the reactions of things, studying everything, and now they've discovered that that's not true. That not necessarily. There can be chaos.
Mm-hmm.
So we're fighting with that what is real? What is reality?
Yeah.
And can we observe it and know anything about it? I mean, we could assume, but is it always an assumption? Is there any truth? Is there any real, like, this is always going to happen? Is always and never, like, are those words even applicable? It's a great book to make you question those kinds of things. And if you're into, like, I'm super into, like, paranormal and creepy things, so I love reading something that makes, because I always think nothing is completely knowable, and that's the beauty of it. And other people are kind of scared about that, but
Yeah.
this book will definitely make you question it. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, if you're interested in mind-bending things, you'll love this book. You will. You'll love
For
it.
sure. Or just even the simplicity of the murder mystery. If you just break it down into that, you'll love it too. It's so good.
Uh-huh.
Even if
It's so good.
even with all, like, if you're not huge into science or any, it'll still pull you in. It will. It's so good.
Yep.
It's so good. Read it. It's got something for everybody. If you're not super into science,
Well, not for kids.
You can get past that
Yeah.
pretty quickly, because I'm not super into science. I don't understand a lot of the terms that they use and things,
Mhm.
but it's still going to be cohesive. You're still going to
Yeah.
understand what's going on. It's, you know, so, and if you're into science, I'm sure you'll love it. Maybe you'll hate it, but still it'll be interesting, because he's gonna posit some things that you're gonna go no, or maybe,
Yeah.
whatever. You're gonna love it. Please read it. We're gonna go on to the second book finally. So excited. We're gonna see what the hell is going on.
Finally. I don't even know what it's called.
And we will bring it back to
Oh my god, what's
It's,
it even called?
The second book.
Called like Earth's End or Death's End or something like that. Three problem
Something.
series. I got it. I'll pull it up right here. Where is it? Where is it?
the Dark Forest.
Dark Forest.
Oh, which is really cool.
Don't.
I know, right? Yeah, the Dark Forest.
And then the last one's called Death's End. The Redemption of Time is not it's something else. I mean, it's something
It's
extra
another
for
book
this.
that he has written, but it doesn't. It's not connected to this series.
It might be, but it doesn't advance this at all.
Okay.
I read that it wasn't connected. Maybe that's, I don't know.
I can't remember.
So
I just thought it was interesting because this is called The Dark Forest, but I just watched a video by Mr. Ballin. If you haven't watched Mr. Ballin, totally watch him if you like creepy shit. But he just talked about a forest called the Dark Entrance, and it's a
awful.
great story.
That's what I call
so
my
I just thought that was
beehole.
really
Okay. Well, I
Dark Entrance.
think we're all in agreement that you should read this book. We're all
You know, okay, now here's what I was thinking we start doing. I had this idea today. Now we have to start putting on the series that we've done podcasts on, which do we put? How do we rank them? So now listen, Nora Roberts' book series, The Chronicles of the One, very good. Very good. But that would be my last. Really what it comes down to so far is Peter Brett's or Cixin Liu's series, The Three Body Problem. Peter Brett's The Warded Man series. Would you put that ahead of The Three Body Problem or not? Now, I don't think I can say yet. Peter Brett's is very good. I think I'd still put that number one, but I see potential for Three Body to be my number one of the series that we've done podcasts on.
I have to edit what you said, because if it was gonna be a question, I think Peter Brett's character building and character progression are the thing that kept me going wow throughout the
Yes.
series.
Yes.
The actual environment of the world Peter Brett creates got pretty predictable. I was pretty sure of like what was going to go on. So if we're talking about
It's a good
the
point.
craziness of environment, Cixin
Good
Liu
point.
wins 10 out of 10.
a
I
good
have no
point.
idea what's going to happen in that environment. So I would say 10 out of 10 for him. For Peter Brett's character progression and allowing me to dive into a character and understand someone as a villain and then understand them as a hero to me on
Or just as a
personal
human.
levels that I can connect with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just human, yeah. 10 out of 10 for Peter Brett. So it depends.
That's true. That's
on
where
the
his
categories.
strength is. That's where his strength is, was that character
It's such
depth.
it's so strong.
Yep.
The amount, the visceral reaction I would have to being, oh my god, I'm reading about this person,
Yep.
and then at the end of reading about them being like, oh my god,
Crying for them, for something just like,
Yeah.
you know,
Amazing,
yeah,
amazing
their
level.
mother recognizes them or something. You're like, oh my god.
You know, I know what you're feeling.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what is happening? 2
Just-
seconds ago, I was so upset at this person.
But that's what I think we should start
And
doing
then
is we have
literally
to start ranking though and saying which comes
Yeah.
first.
That's
And right
hard.
now,
Yeah,
Peter
it's hard,
Brett
but
is
it's
the
really-
number one.
I think Nora Roberts though, she would
is my
win
girl.
10 out of 10 every single time on I just want to read a story and I want it to make sense and I want to know what I'm reading and I want to get to the end of it. No messing around. She
No.
doesn't mess around. She doesn't mess with your mind. She's not trying to freak you out. She's just like, here's a story and you read it. I love that about Nora
But if you
Roberts,
had
that
to
I
tell
can just
somebody,
get to the end.
hold on, you just have to tell somebody, okay, I just have to tell you which book series to read. I'm gonna give you one, like the next book series you're gonna read. You tell them that. I'm saying read The Warded Man. Read That Warded Man. That series.
Well, that's a problem
Ooh.
for me because
I think it depends on the person.
Okay. It depends on the person. It's preference. I would say read The Three Body Problem in this series because of the fact that for me, it's just, it wows me on, I never would have twisted something in that way. Like I never expected that twist to come. I would never
That's
have
true.
been able to go, oh, I'm pretty sure, I have no freaking idea.
No,
what's
I had
gonna
no
happen. I'm
idea
like,
what was going on.
what?
Three Body Problem.
No.
No idea.
The whole
And then
time
all
I
of a
was
sudden you're
going-
like, what?
Well,
Yeah.
but when it brings,
What?
but the fact that you don't know what's going on and then it brings it together and you're
Yeah.
like, okay, like
Yeah.
that kills me. But I'll
Yeah.
have to say, the book I always recommend every single time, no matter who it is.
It can't
if
be
they're an
something we
adult, I
haven't
should
read
say.
yet.
I'm not talking to children very much. Sorry, everybody.
It can't be something we haven't read yet.
But
Don't-
it is. And
don't
so
you
I
dare
mean, we have
say-
to read that before we could talk about it.
Don't want to hit
But
it.
I'm just saying.
No, I'm just kidding. What is it? You can say it.
Yeah.
Just real quick, what is it?
Oh, Brett Weeks, the Night Angel trilogy.
Oh yeah, you told us about that. We'll read it.
It
Read it.
is heart-wrenching.
I'm
It
picking the
changed my
series.
mind.
I'm
That
picking.
book changed my life. It has a little bit of Three Body Problem weirdness of what the hell is happening with amazing character progression that you're like, oh god, I can
Yeah.
totally understand how they went that way. With a little bit of the Nora Roberts where you're like, no, that is a bad person and I totally don't agree with them. With an insane environment where some crazy ass magical shit is happening. All of it somehow melding together. I don't know how Brent Weeks did it, but I'm just saying that would change my life. Like I think about it and I feel in my heart like, okay. And I love Star Wars.
Victoria,
and I'm still saying Brent Weeks.
you're up next. So if you want us to read that.
I don't think.
Yes, you
Am
are.
I?
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Yes, Nora. We could do it.
Just saying, you're up.
Oh,
I'm saying
God.
you're up next. You get to pick.
It's just I just know the
Listen, we got
emotional
two
toll
other books. We got two other books. You got time. Two other books. We'll
to
figure
get
it out.
settled.
That's right.
Just
in your
get
happy
yourself
place.
settled because
And all I'm saying is, when I pick my series, I'm just saying when it comes back around to me, Wheel of Time, 16 books. So just get ready.
It's like a year.
Oh, the one that Mom
You're
suggested.
next
I think
year,
we
it's
also should do the one that Mom suggested, the Time Machine. I've never seen the movie. Mom has.
Oh yeah, but
apparently the book's really good.
those are short, I think, though. That book's short.
They're short. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
And
what's
kinda
next?
nice.
Are we gonna go to reviews?
No, we're not doing reviews.
Okay.
They're stupid.
I love you guys.
No,
I love you.
hey everybody, thank you for listening to
Yeah,
another
thank
episode.
you.
Like, comment, subscribe, please. Tell
Yeah,
us.
thank you for listening to this. The next book that we're going to read
What
is
you
called
think?
The Dark Forest.
Book number 2.
Number 2.
Book number 2. Please read it because if you do, maybe you'll understand some stuff that we don't.
Even if you
because
don't
I
listen to
didn't
this ever
understand a lot.
again, even if you never listen to this again, read the books.
Oh, they're so good.
Read the books.
So good.
They're good.
All 3 series. Peter Brett series, read it. The Warded Man. Nora Roberts series, The Chronicles of the One, read it. And The Three Body Problem, we've only read one book so far, but we're in. So,
Well, yeah, at
We're
this
in.
point.
I'm in.
so
Yeah, there's no going back.
no going back. Anyway, thank you so much, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.